Let's begin. Again, my name is Lesley Pazdzioch. I am the founder of Inspiring Creative Insight Life Coaching, and I am going to be doing live videos now until the end of the year on just tips and tricks and just some insight into life and how to just live a life more full and joyful. So, in the past few weeks, we've been talking about clearing clutter. One of my videos addressed clearing the clutter out of your home and how things in your environment can often bring up unconsciously and keep some clutter in your life, and then and how to get rid of it. If you didn't watch that, go back and watch that. That's pretty helpful. And last Tuesday night, we talked about clearing relationship clutter. And I really hit hard on the aspects of the people are talking now about getting rid of toxic people, clearing toxic people out of our lives. And I gave 10 ways to perhaps not have to get rid of certain people in your lives, because at some point in time in our lives, we all experience things that just we might have an encounter with somebody and they might just find us to be toxic because we weren't in a very good mood. Something in our life wasn't going as well as we expected. We were experiencing some trauma, some family issues, just whatever was taking place in our life. It just put us into a very vulnerable state, which somebody might really look at as being toxic. And we can't ever judge a person by the chapter of the book of their life book we walked in on, and it's always good to give somebody an opportunity or a chance, and hopefully you'll be able to review those 10 steps that we talked about last Tuesday. And now tonight, let's get to tonight's topic. Tonight is all about clearing those thought processes, that mind clutter. It seems for me anyway, that when I'm having a really busy, really stressful day, and I just can't wait for the day to end. There's been so much going on. Things just pop up out of nowhere, unexpected, and just throw me through a loop. And then I think, you just can't wait to hit the pillow and just relax. And then all of a sudden, you're laying there, and your mind just seems to be kicking in and going and going and going and rushing. And you can't separate one thought from another, and that's very frustrating. And I believe, for me, this happens when I'm not paying attention. I'm so busy with other things that are going on in my life, and they're so distracting that I'm not able to pay attention to what's going on within me, with my thoughts, with my feelings and my actions, what's truly going on here. And more so, I'm reacting to things that are going on around me. And that's what I believe anxiety comes into place, or we start fumbling with things and we start to become a little clumsy and forgetful. That's when we walk into another room. I don't know if anybody else, I'm sure I do it. I'll walk into a room expecting or looking for something, and I get in there and think, what am I doing here? I completely forget what I even walked into that room for. And that can be kind of scary. And it's frustrating because then you lose track. And I believe it's because there's so many things that are fighting for our attention and we're trying to multitask and take care of everything, and it just gets so much. And then when we lay down at night, our minds finally have an opportunity to start processing things, and it just doesn't stop until it finds finality, or it finds closure on whatever it was thinking, and so that it can rest. Everything needs, even our brains and our thought process needs some closure before we go to sleep, so that the rest of our body can do what it needs to do during our resting period, like digesting and just breathing on its own. Oh, excuse me. But our bodies just need that time to go from one phase to the other. And that's why it's always really good to have a bedtime ritual, something that you do in the evening before you go to sleep. And we're going to talk about that tonight as well. So one of the things, I have to put my glasses on, is we sometimes look at the mind chatter that goes on in our heads, and then we realize, and we often think that whatever's going on has to be true. And if it's something that's very unpleasant, we often make an urgency out of it, and then our emotions get involved and our actions get involved. And I just really would like to invite you to just really challenge these thoughts that are coming to your head, and ask yourself, are they real? And how do I know they're real? Are they coming from facts, or are they just coming from my head just making stuff up? If we believe every thought we had, then we would have the ideal job. We would have the ideal money in our bank accounts. We would drive the best cars. Nothing would go wrong if all of our thoughts were real. So really be mindful of what you're allowing when your mind starts thinking about it. Be really mindful about, is it real? Is it not? Does it need my attention right now, or can it wait? And that's a really good thing to really go forward in. And when you find yourself in these positions where it just feels overwhelming, really stop and think about it, and look at it and say, breathe, just breathe. Take a few minutes, close your eyes, just breathe, no matter where you are. And if you're in a meeting, your mind's racing, you can't get away from it, perhaps try to count in your mind. This helps me tremendously when I'm in a situation that's stressful and there's a lot going on, and I just start feeling those anxious feelings. I will count in my head from 1 to 10, and then I'll start over again, and I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 4. So every time you count to 10, that's one set. See how many sets you can get to. And if you can get to maybe 5, 10, even 20, great. Because what you're doing is you're giving your mind an opportunity to reset itself, and your emotions to reset itself. And you can do this exercise when you're just thinking in your head, just all by yourself, even in a group of people. It will lower your heart rate, it calms your breathing, and it gives you an opportunity to recenter. And all you need is 17 seconds. 17 seconds to count in your mind, if that's what you need to do. If you have to step away, walk somewhere for 17 seconds and just close your eyes and count. Or just focus on your breath. Just find a way or something to focus your attention onto. 17 seconds. You will completely reset all your emotions, your thoughts, and everything will be great, and you'll start to calm down. And one of the things that I've actually been really looking into and to quite a lot is anxiety. And sometimes, mostly at night we'll get anxious feelings, we'll get anxiety. And what I learned is that, and I come to this conclusion, that anxiety and excitement often have the same type of reactions. When I think about it and I look up and I think, okay, well, what is anxiety and where is it coming from? Why do I feel this? And sometimes we can get anxiety over something that we're excited about, but there's something in our going on within us or in our environment that's causing the excitement to feel more like anxiety. Unknown, we get our hearts start racing, our pulse rises, our breathing becomes more shallow, and then our minds start clicking into feelings and actions that relate to whatever's going on inside of us automatically. And it could start clicking into thoughts that are unpleasant, or past experiences, or things that we're fearful of, the unknown. Oftentimes that's the reaction that happens. And if we just started looking at the anxiety, and when we start looking at it and start thinking, am I anxious? What's going on in my mind? And start thinking about positive things, and just try to shift and really start coming into contact. This is why mindfulness is so important for us to maintain a balance, so that we're able to be in the moment. Being in this very particular moment in time will really help us with predetermined patterns of our actions, thoughts, and feelings from the past to come into our forward, because we just kind of don't know how to just be right here and now and take each moment for what it is. And I'll give you an example. I have been helping a family member with some things lately, and one of the people that we needed to get some information from really didn't lie, but they didn't give us the information that we needed, and they knew what it was. And prior to me even approaching this person, asking for confirmation, I already knew, and I was more or less kind of just giving them an opportunity to come out and be truthful about it, and they didn't. And instead, they denied knowing anything about it. And that was really, it was true that the person didn't, but the person that their significant other is the person that we're looking for, that has the information that we need, but they chose not to share it. Now, that really doesn't matter, but what I automatically did, because I knew it was dishonest, I automatically became frustrated, more aggressive, non-trusting, all these things that I've experienced that are reactions from my past, that I would behave in such a way, and of non-trusting, just all those feelings of non-trusting, not being able to get the correct information. And then earlier today, I found out, and this has been going on for a couple of weeks now, earlier today, I found out that, this person just doesn't want to get involved, and that they're really not sure who to say yes to and who not to say. And I understand their perspective, but I don't understand why they couldn't just be honest. So anyway, that's just an example of, sometimes we pull in certain things that are unnecessary, that are automatically built into us already, and they're patterns that we need to change. And it's within our thought patterns, in our feelings, and in our actions. And once we start really noticing and taking a look at ourselves from the inside out, like I was talking about, peeling back all these layers, once we start to remove them and understand where they come from, we gain a really great insight into ourselves. And I, for instance, I learned that this is something that I do. So it gave me an opportunity to learn that, Lesley, you react this way under these circumstances, and you automatically move into a defense mechanism of not trusting and everything else. So now I have an opportunity to learn something new. I'm going to now step back and say, okay, instead of being attacking, I'm going to look, knowing that this person had that information, and doing that, I'm going to stand back and say, I wonder why they did that. I wonder why they made that choice. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I wonder what's going on with that. Instead of automatically attacking them and automatically just being so frustrated and angry and non-trusting. That's part of getting to know who we are, and it's really quite a great thing. Then we don't react to things. We really learn more about ourselves. We learn more about other people, why they do the things they do. It gives us a better understanding of life in general, and an appreciation for why people do the things that they do. And sometimes, just maybe, we might learn a thing or two about why other people do the things that they do, So then perhaps there's going to be instances in our life where we can implement the same thing. We're all here together in this time, space, life, and there's a reason why we come in, why we have the certain people around us and bump into us. So I think it's really truly for us to all learn from each other. One of the things, so we've talked about, our thought processes and how they're going to affect our emotions and within our environment, and how sometimes we can pull in past behaviors or past experiences. They might not match it specifically, but in our brains and our emotions just latch onto the first thing, and it's up to us to determine if that's going to be appropriate for us or not at this time. And a way to really calm down, and the anxiety comes into play that's a big sign from our internal GPS system that we have with those 5 thought processes I've talked about, those 5 senses that we have, that we can really start to really look at, okay, what's really going on here if something's off. Once we get that alignment with our internal guidance system, and if something starts to move or shift out of it, we can more so identify what it is. If it's in our actions, perhaps it's in our environment, and then we start looking at our environment that would maybe be affecting our emotions. Everything's all sort of intertwined with each other. Once we get a really firm grasp on who we are and why we do the things that we do, and start letting go of the things that don't serve us anymore, and start moving forward with looking for a greater understanding of who we are, and accepting change, that we change. And once we don't need this anymore, then we can go ahead and shift out of it, because we've already implemented that into our life, and we're already there. We should truly be living happy, healthy, great lives through contrast and controversy, and really enjoying our experience, because we are going to be so tuned in with who we are. And I believe this is where there's a huge shift going on with people, and talk, and then they refer to it in different ways. It's the energies, what you draw towards you, karma, what have you. It's just there's really a shift in people's awareness and in their inner being, and in their life, that they're not understanding what's going on, and they're looking for more clarity. And I think that's why a lot of people are shifting into more looking into spiritual practices, mindfulness, calming down, really taking their time, being more centered, and why there's such a demand for this, because truly we're going to get to a point where life's going to become much easier, and we can experience this if we just get on the ideas and start figuring out what's going to work for us in our lives. So I really truly believe that when we start to begin to make this shift, a large part of it can happen when we start paying attention to our thought processes, and really what are we thinking, what's going on in our minds. And if we look at those thought processes, and we say to ourselves, if it's not one that's serving us, if we're digging up the past about something that somebody did to us in the past, or an experience that we had in the past, we need to really grab a hold of it and really just shift it and change it, and have really strong positive thought processes that are going to be moving through our head, through our minds. And I think, or I honestly know, that by doing this, we're going to start filtering the things that we're thinking about, and we're going to start shifting it more into the direction of positive things, about things that we want. Not necessarily just, oh, the weather's nice, and oh, that's a beautiful flower, which is great. But if we start moving our minds more into the direction of thinking about the things that we want, the positive things, and focusing more on them, instead of looking at the fear of, oh, what if I don't get it? What if I don't have it? What if somebody takes it? What if they block me? What if? The more negative side of it, if we hold on to that, it's going to keep our ability to, obviously, to focus on what we want. We need to just really eliminate and get rid of the negative thinking, and just start really just focusing on what is it that we want, how are we going to get it, and just continue down that path. And when something comes in that's going to disrupt that positive path, we need to just clarify it and get rid of it and look at it and say, oh, that's a memory that I don't need anymore. Thank you for reminding me where I was and letting me know how far I've come. I don't need you anymore, and let it go. Just let him go. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just a little bit tired today. So we're going to start simplifying, and then we need to, not only are we going to start to clarify our thinking and thinking more in positive direction, I think that we need to really simplify what our thoughts are and simplify our lives and say, okay, right now in my life, these are the 1, 2, or 3 things. I probably wouldn't have any more than 3 top things that you want to achieve in your life right now, and focus on them in 3 areas, or maybe even just 4 areas. Take 4 areas of your life, which are the 4 areas that we use to create happiness in our life, and focus on those intermittently and try to find that focus and those balance within your everyday life in those 4 areas, in things, in your competition and what you do, as well as what are you giving back to the community, and your spirituality. If you take those 4 areas of your life and make those the most main focus, it'll give you the opportunity, and only with something positive, how can I make this area of my life more apparent, more aware? How can I engage more in it? How can I be more proactive in it? How can I enhance it? Those 4 areas in your life, focus on those, just the positive aspects of it, pushing aside the fear and getting to know who we are, and really pay attention to when we have the feelings and the thoughts, and try to figure out where they're coming from, but then just stay on that driving path of moving forward. Really going to be helpful in our everyday lives. And if perhaps you're looking, you wanted to start dating, or you want better relationship with your significant other, approach all of these things with a love and kindness attitude, and try to find your level of trust at that time. And if no matter how big or small, maybe it's not what it was before, you had a disagreement or before a certain experience. Try to just find your level of trust, and every day as you build on this with your positive thinking and your positive attention of paying attention to the good things. I'm not saying close your eyes to the negative things. I'm just saying if we start paying more attention to the positive things, more positive things will come out of it, and perhaps it will really start to diminish whatever the negative responses or the negativity that was injected into the situation would start to become less. For instance, if you and your partner aren't spending much time together and you want to, and you're just bitching and complaining, saying, "Oh, I just want to spend more time together. We never spend any time together." Well, guess what? You're probably not going to spend much time together, because nobody wants to spend any time together with somebody that's just nagging and complaining all the time. But if you start appreciating and say, "Oh, this was really nice that we had this time to spend, even if it was 5 minutes. This was really nice to spend this time with you. Thank you so much. This really meant a lot to me. I look forward to the next time we're going to do it." And I'll tell you what, man, woman, child, whatever, they're going to say, it's going to make them feel good that you acknowledged their efforts. You're going to feel good that inside that you acknowledged the fact that it happened. Everybody's aware of a better situation, even if it was 5 minutes. Perhaps next time it'll be 6 or maybe 10. You're going to start building up that time and together, and just make sure that you set an intention when you walk into every situation. My intention is to make this situation the best it's going to be. Don't walk into a situation or an environment without any expectations, and then complain about the things that happened because you didn't enjoy it or it wasn't ideal for you. If you walk in with no expectations and then you leave and you still feel empty, it's because you didn't set the expectation of the event in the first place. If you're going to go to a party, or you're going to go to a wedding, or if you're going to do this, that, or the other thing, set an intention. Boy, while I'm here, I'm really going to get to know the people in the room. I'm really going to spend some time with each individual, really get to know who they are. Boy, I'm really looking forward to meeting new people, or to catching up with this person, or that person, or whatever it is. I'm really looking forward to catching up with everyone. When you leave, that's exactly what you're going to have done. You're going to, because you set your intention, you went into the environment, you went into the situation, you did exactly what you needed to do, and you're going to walk out very full and very happy. But if you walk into it with no expectations, just to have a good time, you're going to leave without having a good time. Just like a vacation. You plan for this vacation, you can't wait to go. You get there, but you didn't set an expectation. Well, what did you expect on this vacation? What were you looking for? What did you want that experience to bring you? You set that intention for that experience, and then you make it happen. You follow through with it. This is my expectation. This is what I want to happen. And you focus your attention on that positive experience, only that positive experience, and you move forward, and those are the behaviors, the feelings, the thoughts, and the actions that you're going to interject into that experience. But if you don't set an expectation, even for your day, vacations, any engagement moment, you don't set expectations, you're not going to be happy. You're going to not only miss out on what happened because you didn't know what to look for in the first place, but you're also kind of wasting your time. You need to know what you want before you can get it. Before you can know exactly what you want, you need to know who you are, so that when you get into situations, you can determine what's going on in the very moment. You're going to sit in that very moment in time, and you're going to be able to evaluate what's going on around you and within you, so that you can better handle what's going on outside of you. We can't we can't control what happens to us, but we can always control what happens inside of us and how we react to certain things. And a lot of it starts in our own minds, and it goes in our feeling, and then in our action. Those are 3 key things. And then focus on those 4 elements of happiness, things, our experiences, our competition, our life in general, our interactions within the community, and our connection with our higher self. Those are the 4 areas that we really need to find that balance for happiness. And then when we plan something, we need to go into the experience and say, you can't just say, I'm going to this wedding, I don't know what's going to happen, I have no expectations, and then have nothing. Then you're going to walk away without any expectations. You're going to walk away without anything, and then you're going to go, why did I come? Why am I here? And you're going to leave and think, it was okay. It's not fun. And you have an opportunity now to really look at things differently. Set your expectations of what you want to experience in every facet of your life, and then make it happen. Well, I think we're almost out of time. I want to thank you so much for joining me. And just to recap a little bit, very quickly, clearing the clutter out of our thought processes. Find a ritual before you go to bed. Not the TV. Don't be on our electronic devices and everything else. Find a way to quiet yourself. Journal. Journaling is a really good way to help you process through the day. Write down the things that you experience. That way you're going to start putting closure to some things that are going on in your mind. I would project your thoughts onto anything, like this happened, and I just assume that you know exactly what the person was thinking, when we really don't, because that's mind reading, and that's not going to be good for you. But really just find a way in the evening to calm your mind down, settle things out, and then when you go to bed, you'll be able to sleep because everything found closure. And as soon as the video's done and uploaded, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to post a little PDF I created, and I'll show this to you. It's this PDF when it comes down into your email, and it's called Changing My Way of Thinking, and it reviews. I'll show you the little bit. It reviews the top 18 thought patterns that really drive us crazy. As well, I have created quite a few sheets behind here, as you can see, that they just ask simple questions about what was your thought you were having at the time, and it helps. And this guide will really help you shift your negative thought processes into a more positive, productive. It'll pull things out of you and it'll put closure to the things that no longer serve you, experiences that you don't need to bring up in the past. You can turn all of your anxious feelings and anxiety feelings into, and it's really not anxiety, it's excitement. And you can really start learning the difference. I hope you have a really great weekend. I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. Take care.